Got open man. DJ Moore. End zone. Touchdown. Touchdown Bears.
I am Jeff Joniak.
Blitz is on. Down he goes. Oscar.
What was it like playing for Coach Ditka?
I don't want to answer any questions like that.
Pressure coming. He's in big trouble. Down he goes. Montez Sweat.
And etc.
Now, Bears Etc. brought to you by Chevy Drives Chicago, the official truck partner of your Chicago Bears.
Well, everything wrapped up in Santa Clara with the Seattle Seahawks. Super Bowl 60 dominance over the New England Patriots. We take that as a cue to what's next for the Bears in 2026 on the road to Super Bowl 61 at SoFi in Los Angeles. With Super Bowl winning Bears guard Tom Thayer, I'm Jeff Joniak. We discussed today on episode 208 of the Bears Etc. podcast. And this episode is brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer partner of your Chicago Bears. Tastes like Miller Time Chicago. Go to MillerLite.com/BearsPod to find delivery options near you. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. A special guest today on Bears Etc. this week, the MVP of Super Bowl 20, 40 years ago. I don't know where that time has gone. Pro Football Hall of Famer Richard Dent, who spearheaded a vicious defensive performance in New Orleans in that game.
When did they tell you you are MVP of the Super Bowl? Did you go to Disney World after, but you probably went right to the Pro Bowl?
Right. Yeah. Well,
how do they tell you?
Well, actually, I found out on the field. It's a picture of me and Kevin Butler. You know, and I was negotiating that whole time. So it was about, actually I woke up that morning and I told Tyrone Keys, I said, Tyrone, you know what? I just dreamed that I was going to win the MVP. And Tyrone said, oh, that's great. so, you get out there and, that was the first game where we said we wanted to shut them out since we had shut two teams out already. We was like, you can't lose if they don't get any points. You can't win if at least we don't get three, So, Walter's fumbling the ball and everybody went out there like a draw, a little, upset that we knew that the chance of them getting 3 points was going to happen, probably. And the first play, Holloway hits me in the chest. They go play action, hit me in the chest, and next thing you know, I'm falling back. And I'm falling on my back. And you don't like that, Tom. Right. Defensive linemen don't like to be knocked on their ass, especially the first play. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying not to fall. And he was coming to clean me up. And something in my mind said, you want to take this pain or you want to hit reset? So when you're playing the biggest game in your life and you hitting reset, that's the game, that type of adversity is going to happen somewhere. It's what you do after that. And all I saw was, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, Hey, I became the MVP after that. He's like, did you have to have that to win this game? No, you didn't, but that's the game. Adversity is going to happen. It's what you do when adversity hits you.
How about Disney? Did that not happen?
Disney didn't take place at all. You know what? They sent McMahon. They didn't send me. I started game 7 of my second year with 1 sack, and in the year, leading the league with 17. So I get, out of 10 games, I get, 10 sacks. I get 16 sacks in 10 games and, didn't get anything for it. Didn't get defensive player of the year, didn't get defensive lineman of the year. The next year you come back, lead the lead again. I had so many great guys around me where I could show my talent off. And I tell people, it don't matter what takes place. If God gives you the vision to see yourself doing things, go get it done. Adversity is going to happen. I was working on something, but I didn't get it done. But we probably get it done next year. And that's, I wanted to do something with the 40th anniversary. I wanted to do something on myself on a documentary. We also did the carbon footprint for the Super Bowl this year. Carbon emissions. The key here is that, we're not going to be here the next 100 or 150 years, but the planet will. You want to see your kids, grandkids, great-grandkids have a life.
Is this a part of your company, or what are you working on? What is the name of it? What is your goal here?
You know, we part of the United Nations. So I have a contract with the Department of Defense. We sell Department of Defense's fuel. The Army is fuel. I started a company by the name of Climate Bear and CATA. We are together. We work with 180 countries around the world, you know, improving the carbon footprint.
Wow, that's me. Whatever got you into that?
Well, I got into, you know, really what got me in the energy business was not having it at home. You know, in Atlanta, you sit around, you look, and your light's not on, or you see your granddad using coal. Like, what is that about? So curiosity was more than anything, you know, on electricity, natural gas. And right when I got out of football in '97, I got with First Energy out of Ohio. Invested some money. This when Enron and First Energy, you know, everybody was fighting in the power business. And I had a chance to get in the business and invest in phone companies. So First Energy, brought First Communication to Chicago. And I was president of that for a while. Then we sold that. And while I was doing that, I was learning the utility business. Now, in 2013, 2014, we did the largest power deal in aggregation in the country, which I took. Everybody in Chicago was paying 8.9 cents a kilowatt hour. We sold it to them for 6.8 a kilowatt hour. So if you didn't want to get into the program, you have to sign a lot of papers. Otherwise, you let it go. But this was a time when Rahm Emanuel was there. This state of Illinois spends $14 billion in electricity. Now, ComEd is going to get half of that because they're the distributor. But here in Chicago, you have a choice. You know, the polls are yours, and you have a choice to who you might want to use. I'm down here in Florida. Anything south of Indiana doesn't have free choice. Anything basically west of Texas don't have choice. So you only have about 13 states that have choice. 48 states holds gas. Everybody have choice in that space, but not many people use that. But that's what I've been doing since I got out of football, and been there ever since.
Rich, you know, as long as I've known you, you've never done anything subtly. You do things on a grandioso kind of a stage. And so did football turn you into the Richard Dent that you are now? And how long did it take you to coming from Tennessee State to believe that you belonged at a Super Bowl MVP level in the NFL?
Well, when I left Atlanta, you know, I'm 7 brothers, you know, 1 sister, and I was number 6 out of 9. So for me, I started as an entrepreneur young, you know, at the age of 8, 9, you know, I mean, once I realized that the clothes that I was getting was hand-me-down from my brothers, then I realized that I'm the biggest one in the house, and now I can't fit nobody clothes, right? So you probably remember layaway back in the day, right?
Yeah. Of course,
You buy your clothes, put it on layaway, and you buy it bigger because you know it's going to take you 2-3 months before you get your clothes, right? So I started that, working with my mother in the church on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I basically had worked at every fast food before I even got to high school because I was a big kid and I lied about my age, but you know, it was job, it was opportunities to get out there. My mom was in catering, cooking and cleaning people's houses and things of that nature that, you know, I learned through her. I cut grass weekend. My dad thought he had the next Jackson 5s. You know, all my brothers, they had their own band. And I'm trying to do something with them. And I look at the money. It's just not enough money. How coming, you know? And I just said, you know, I'm better off just going over here, cut my grass and working with my mom 2 days a week. And I end up buying me a bike. And then I started up buying my own clothes and put my clothes in layaway. And a guy by the name of William Lester, my high school coach, played with 2 years of ball. I played 1 year basketball, got All-American 1 year, and played 2 years of football. And I wanted to leave town and find myself, somebody that I wanted to be special. I want my mother to see one of her kids make it to do something somewhere. And, my objective is to get out of Atlanta some kind of way and find, my dream. And I dreamed it, but I was afraid to pursue my dream. And my buddy lived next door, a guy named Scott Dean. His father was a minister, and his father didn't allow TV in the house. So he wanted to go out. He wanted to play football before he left in 76. And he made a bet with me. He said, I tell you what, I'm going to go out for football and you go out too. I said, I'll bet you. And he's like, hey, okay. So next thing you know, he coming out of his house with his band uniform on, coming to my house, one door over, dropping the band stuff and going to the game. His family stopped coming to watch him march in the band his last year. That was the push to get me on the field, to get me playing. And we played in the streets a lot. I was a big guy running the ball, running people over and all. But again, just shy and afraid to pursue my dream. And we went off to Tennessee State with three of my other buddies. And, I remember Coach Gillum sit there and looked. We standing in the parking lot, and he looked, hey, Coach, we didn't ask for this guy here. And that was me. I'm like, oh, again, here we go. You didn't ask for me. And I'm like, oh, So my coach walked up to him, put his hand around his shoulder and said, good luck, Coach. Walked away, right? I'm like, what is it now? So I started working for Sunbeam at Tennessee State, got in summer school, and they had me as an offensive lineman there. And I'm like, I'm 195. Who I'm going to push around, right? I ain't got nothing to push around. I'm like, maybe I play tight end or something like that. And I just realized that, first of all, they don't know me. They don't want me. They don't know what they have. And I just started looking around and checking the data and checking the players and the years and where they at. And I said, I don't have this kind of time. So I just got on dumbest squad side and I started giving pitches, Tom, and, giving pitches, meaning that I looked down at the defense and Coach Gillum, if you was close to an older guy, he had more time with you. So he's going to give you a chance to play. So I started preparing myself to move the defense, and I did it on the dummy squad. And I stayed there for the whole spring, and that summer they said, okay, you go into defense. And at that time, I needed to make that time on the track and get my equipment and play. And we was about 2 weeks out for the first game. I finally got off the track, and before you know it, I got in the starting lineup.
And wow, what a career after that. So 203 regular season games, 137 and a half sacks, 37 forced fumbles. You go from 3 sacks, as you alluded to, as an 83 Bear rookie to 17 and a half in 84, 17 again in 85. 8 of your 15 seasons, 10-plus sacks, 4-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler. Your age 33 season with the Bears, you had 12 and a half sacks before moving to the 49ers, another Super Bowl there. And back to the Bears for a year, the Colts, the Eagles to wrap it up. But wow, what a career and a Hall of Fame career on top of that. Did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams, as you referred to, a shy kid, to be what you were? You were less than shy on the field, racking up those sacks the way you did.
Well, that was, the shyness, kind of never really grew. And I never grown out of it. I'm still shy in some ways or something. But yet, when you find confidence in yourself and confidence in other people with what you're trying to do, it's like when William Perry got out of the offense and came on defense, and I was like, look, William, we're going to dictate on this side, okay? All I need for you to run from here to there. Give him a short distance of what he want to work. And I said, everything else outside of that is all mine. You don't have to work. Just run from the hash to the numbers. Give you the hash to the numbers, everything else is mine. So we're going to dictate, we're going to tell them where they're going to run. So you're going to get blocked down from the center of reach. That's all you need to work on, dog. That's it. So when you work together, and I tell people, and compete with one another, only person can beat you but yourself. And that's where we had a great time, beating against our offensive line because we know that the offensive line was going to see anything better than what we was giving them, and that was going to make them great, and it made us great. So, you know, we had a lot of fun, you know. I knew it was jealousy around, but when it came down to football, hell, everybody was all about football.
But what about Buddy? His impact in your career? Did he ever challenge you in a way that you took offense to it, or was it always a kind of a challenge that it pointed you in a positive direction?
Buddy always been somewhat cool with me. I mean, I knew, seeing so many great ball players leave Tennessee State and go to the NFL and not make it. And I always had curiosity about what is it, what's going on. I know what talent looks like. You know, I have an IQ of football. I know what it is, and I just couldn't understand. But when I got there, I understood some of the things that, you know, teams do not put up with. But Buddy, you know, I was, you know, third down, I'm in his ear all the time, in his ear, you know, and I know that you got a first rounder, Al Harris. You know, you got a first rounder at Mike Hartenstein. You got a first rounder at Dan Hampton, you know, and you got all these guys that, you know, team is going to give those first rounders more opportunity that they're going to give a lower rounder. So it was all about win on hand, win. And I kept hitting, and finally, you know, he gave me a chance and we go to work. And as of learning football, I learned that from college. When I got with Buddy's system, I needed to know what he was doing, and that's what I had to learn. That's where I had problems. He's like, I can't let you play because of this. So tell me why. Give me the reason why I can't play. So we move around a lot. You know, he has this call called AFC, automatic fronts control. When you jump in certain things, we jump in things. We move. So when Fridge is over the center and I'm on the tackle, you know, I got to spill things. I can't squeeze it. And so, you know, you think he's beside you, but he's not. Now he's over. So that linebacker got to get outside. I got to get inside. So when we move and quick, I couldn't get that, you know, that was just not clicking the way I wanted to click. But once he told me the matter, then I got it. We won't have that problem no more, okay? Let's go to work. So once I realized that was the issue, that Buddy works like a chain. Everybody hold his hand. Everybody has to be responsible for their gaps, for their holes, and he didn't believe in playing younger men.
Hey, Bears fans, Vivid Seats is the official fan experience partner of the Chicago Bears and the most rewarding ticket company. Download the app today to score their lowest price guarantee. So you were talking about the defense, and this popped into my head. It comes up every so often. Mm-hmm. Could the 46 in its purest form work today in the National Football League?
Of course. It's responsibility. Buddy didn't make no calls. He let us make the calls. See, but it's coaches today, everybody run the same thing. You know, even in offense, everybody's inside the numbers. All the offensive players line up inside the number. Well, hell, if you line up inside the numbers, we got 11 people standing in the middle. We in the numbers too. So what's the problem? The problem is that you better have an offensive line can block, okay? Especially when pass, because it takes time for the thing to open up. It is not going to open up when you got 11 people standing in the middle.
The 46 defense, Jeff just brought it up.
Right.
Do you have to have the right personnel? It's not like
sir.
You're just going to throw 11 guys out there.
Right.
When you look at how you worked with Wilbur and Otis and how Hamp was able to move around, how they're able to use Tyrone Keys, Al Harris, and Mikey Hartenstein. So it's got to be a personnel-generated type of a scheme.
I think, you know, Tommy, you if you got a pass rusher, you halfway there. Pretty much, you know, a guy that's outside that can rush either over the guard or outside. I started inside on my second year, and I just blew up because I was just beating the guards all day. It was just getting them. Then I went back outside, and that's when we brought Fridge inside and put Mike Hartenstein down, and I became what he was doing, going on right or left, you know, side of the field. It helps with the personnel, and especially when the personnel wants to be the greatest. That means when you look at Otis, Wilbur, Singletary, I mean, those guys, you know, they were trying to knock your head off. I remember sitting with Jim Brown, and Jim Brown said, "Man, y'all got all 11 would knock your head off." So it's nice to have that personnel when you got Steve McMichael, Hampton, the guys in that middle. You got to figure that out. So Miami thought they had it, just throwing quick, making Fensick come down and try to tackle somebody on the numbers or inside the numbers or somewhere like that, trying to hit the ball, get the ball out and get the ball quick. But yet it's a guaranteed run stopper when you walk the safety up. You got too many people. You just hey, let's take the run away and let's make it pass rush day.
So now Leslie Frazier, separated by 40 years of Super Bowl, as a player for the 85 Bears to the assistant head coach of the 2026 Seattle, 2025 Super Bowl of the Seattle Seahawks. Are you surprised that some of you minds that are still in the game don't kind of visit the 46? Or when you look at the Seattle defense, can you see a thumbprint of Leslie Frazier on that defense?
I don't see that, because they're not, to me, you have to be confident about yourself. As an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, what is it? Is it about you, or is it about what you got on the field? Okay? Right. If it's all about me, then I want to have control, right? But if I think I got people out there can do my job for me, and I give them the ability to do that, that's what I'm going to do. And most people say, "Oh, we can't do that." Well, you're not instilling it to the players. You're not making the players be responsible for their action. Buddy, on first and second down, you're like, "Hey, this is what we're going to do." And if you see something that's not there, find something, make a play, call a play, go. I remember Singletary called a timeout because he saw something that we didn't work on. And and the coaches got pissed off, saying, "Hey, just call a play." We ain't got time to waste these times out, right? You have to trust the people, train the people to do what you want them to do. To me, I don't want to deal with coaches. Sunday, I see ball, get ball. I ain't got time to check. I may do something totally wrong. When I see that ball, the Giants came out with us, and the Giants put the tight end on my side. And I looked at Hampton. I asked Hampton to get in that three technique and hit it. Because, Buddy, all he wanted me to do is push the tight end inside. I'm going to push the tight end inside. But when I come off of him, we're going to turn this into a twist. Right? So now I come straight down the middle, and the quarterback sitting there like a nice piece of chicken that I'm just trying to get him, right? So we did that 2 or 3 times, and we come out the field, Buddy. "Hey, so what are y'all doing? What's going on?" "Hey, coach, it's okay. We'll talk to you on Monday." Right now we're trying to get this ball, man. We ain't got time. I don't have time to be talking about it. I see it. I got to get it.
What was your best game, in your opinion? You had so many great individual performances.
I think one of the funnest ones was the Washington Redskins. We played the Redskins in a playoff game my second year. I mean, we that and the Raiders game, probably the one that the NFL said the most violent game ever, right, in NFL history.
Was that the 6-3 game?
No,
it was
earlier.
Okay. Because you had 4.5 sacks against the Raiders in a game, which is crazy.
They said 10 in 3 games. I'm like, it's you're out there, you're having fun. You just don't, I don't count it. I know in the playoffs, I'm like, I'm doing pretty well. Maybe I didn't understand how they get MVP out, tell you the truth. I thought it was a collaboration of all 3 or 4 games that you played.
Steinhoff was a proud partner of the Chicago Bears this Bears season. Steinhoff's partnered with Special Spaces Illinois to create dream bedrooms for children battling cancer. For every false start caused by the Bears defense during a home game, Steinhoff's donated $1,000 to Special Spaces Illinois. Shop in store and online at steinhoffels.com. Richard, I know we don't have much time left, but you were also inducted to the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame and the Black College Hall of Fame. Right, how meaningful is that? This, of course, is Black History Month. The HBCUs have put a lot of great players into the National Football League. A long time ago, when scouts were looking for people, they looked at HBCU, and you were one of them.
Well, HBCU has made the NFL what it is today, whether you know it or not. Back in the day, NFL was running, excuse me, wishbone, they running all kind of things. They were not running the pro offense, and the pro offense came from Tennessee State, okay? The West Coast offense came from Tennessee State, okay? The bump and run, Marcellus, came from Tennessee State, out of Kansas City, okay? The zone defense came from Tennessee State. Okay, so when you look at this, the product that we're appreciating today came out of HBCU. And I'll put that challenge up to anybody else who wants to try. Now, I got 2 sons right now. My son, RJ, he's 6'5". He run 40.45. He started out at Miami, Ohio as a wide receiver. Now he's a defensive back. He's right corner.
Wow.
And I have another son that he will be a junior next year. So I'll be going to Tennessee State, being a senior advisor to Coach Barlow at Tennessee State. And I have another son down here at St. Thomas Aquinas in Florida.
Wow.
They have won 2 championships back-to-back, and he playing right defensive end. And he is, let me tell you, he is quick. He's way faster and better off than where I were at this time in high school. I mean, I had to find myself in college and find what I'm teaching him.
How big
today
is he?
That he gets. Right now he's 6'1". He's 17. He wears 15 shoes. He's got some more growth going. He probably get to 6'4" or something like that. But
that's a great program.
Wrestler. He's a wrestler.
There you go.
He wrestles. He boxes. He does everything. But he, they love the game, and I would like for him to go boxing, but he seems to want to play football more than anything.
Did you go to any of the Bears games this past season?
Yes, whether you know it or not, and I don't know. It's I'm doing something with the Bears that I don't think I'm sure it's not probably too many players that have that ability or financial ability, I've been a 50-yard line skybox holder for the Bears since 2003.
Wow. Okay.
I own me and my buddy Jim Reynolds, Loop Capital, and us. We have the 50-yard line box on the first level. We've had it over the last 24, 23 years now. So I'm at the game most of the time. If I'm not, then, I have my clients or whatever it may be. But there's not many players that's sitting on the 50-yard line with a skybox at the team that they play with. And I don't know if they appreciate that more or not, which I really don't care. That ain't my business, I just do what I need to do for my service to make my money and support my customer base.
But that place was electric. Did you feel it?
It was. You know what? And the Green Bay game, they have not ever seen the fans act like that. Okay, and to be able to clap while you just hear, it's a different feeling. And I felt this roar in the championship game when I stripped the ball and Wilbur Marshall pick it up and run it for a touchdown. And I'm running down and the crowd was just going crazy. It's like, I can't believe muffs can make that much noise when you can't put your hands together. Right. And I'm looking at Fridge, I'm seeing this gap through his mouth and the snow coming down, it's like that's a feeling that, going to the Super Bowl, we knew it at that time. It's a feeling that I'll never forget. I mean, the fans, the roar, which I've seen a lot of them, but that one there was a cat meow, without a doubt.
Well, Richard, we appreciate all your time. This was a fascinating conversation. You are a little bit of you're a Renaissance man. You got stuff going on. I mean, you're not sitting down just kicking back. You are working. You are working.
You got to have good people. At the end of the day, if you're on this planet, I don't care what you're doing, you're serving in some kind of way. You're giving, you're serving people. Either you're giving or you're serving or you're being paid to serve. Keep it real. Keep it like that. God can do a lot of things for you. if you just open your eyes and talk to them and be available. You know, you never know what your life may be, you know, and I'm very happy about it, you know. I can do better when I know better, you know, and I just seem to, you know, it just seemed to be things that, you know, he put me in that I have a curiosity about, and things come around. You start meeting people, start doing things, and it's just a way of, you know, service and giving to me. I enjoy the utility business because it's not something that is a choice. I mean, it's the choice that you have to be on this planet. Otherwise, everything else is a possibility if I want a burger or whatever it is, or if I want a drink. But this is a commodity that one must have to be on the planet. And I just recall it as a kid not having it, and I always had curiosity about it. And I'm like, hey, you know, if I can help people in that space, this is what I'm gonna do.
That's good advice for everybody, but you're lucky our offensive line took you under our wing and turned you into the player that you became.
Well, you're right, because you know what I learned? How you need, if you ain't got that foot back, it's over, sir.
Richard, thank you so much. One of the great Chicago Bears in NFL history, one of the greatest players in NFL history.
Hey, and thank you guys for what you do for the Chicago Bears and the people who listen to the game, enjoy the game. You know, I see how you get all excited, Jeff, and Tom try to keep you calm. Then Tom get excited. But you guys are two good special role models to give the people the idea about what's going on in the game.
I appreciate you saying
Richard.
that, Richard.
You're
Appreciate
welcome,
you.
man.
Appreciate everything
Much
you
love
do,
to
man.
both of you.
All right,
Yeah,
thank
buddy.
you, Richard. Take care,
All right,
man.
bro. Okay, take care, bye.
Bye. Score big at your local Chevy dealer. The Chevy Silverado will take you through the season in style. Chevy Drive Chicago, official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Tom, great conversation with Richard. So many things I wanted to discuss, but didn't get to. The work done by Mike McDonald in Seattle. I didn't realize this until I read about it in The Athletic. He is the first defensive head coach to actually call plays and win a Super Bowl. All the other coaches that have been defensive coaches that have won a Super Bowl were not the play callers. So that is a piece of history that this second-year young head coach pulled off in the Super Bowl in a dominant effort. What'd you think about it?
Yeah. Well, you know, he's got a good supporting cast around of him, one of them being Leslie Frazier, who's got a ton of NFL experience as a defensive-minded coach. But when you're a young man like that and you're still in the prime of your play calling career, I don't think you want to give it up at this age. I think it's something that you want to pass along to your players, to your organization, and even the assistant coaches you have underneath you. So, It is, and what an accomplishment it really is. I don't think it's surprising given his age, because I just don't think you would want to walk away from the responsibilities of being a head coach, a defensive play caller, and then look at the success they had.
So interestingly, only McDonald and Todd Bowles as defensive coaches called plays in 2025. Interestingly, the 3 of the 10 new head coaches in this cycle, Jeff Hafley, Jesse Minter, Robert Saleh in Tennessee, so Miami, Baltimore, and Tennessee, they've all committed to calling their defenses. Might this be a trend then for defensive coaches? Because it doesn't seem like many did.
Yeah, I think when you accept the responsibility of becoming a head coach, the more responsibility that you can accept is probably better for the locker room, for the team, and the way you address your defensive side of the ball, but the team as a whole. And if these guys feel that they're more familiar with the scheme that they're going to implement on the field, it's probably is good that they are play callers. I guess, you know, after we're just now talking to Richard Dent, as when Buddy Ryan left and went to the Philadelphia Eagles, we'd have to go and do some investigative work to see if he was calling the defense for Philly. Because if you have a lot of confidence in yourself as a defensive play caller and a guy that designed a defense specific, it's kind of hard to hand that baton over. Because if you kind of question some calls that are going on the field, and you know, maybe that can create a diversion.
Good news, Chicago United Airlines is getting brand new planes with all the bells and whistles like Bluetooth connectivity, screens at every seat, and room for everyone's roller bag. United, proud to fly the Chicago Bears, and you too. That basic idea, the 46 defense that I threw at Richard, those of us that enjoyed it and tried to study it a little bit understand what it is. But I did some research on this in advance of this discussion because I've asked you many times too, and you did focus on, you got to have the right players in the right spots, like really talented, athletic, dynamic players to fill those roles. But with the passing game as it is, it's a lot of pressure on just three defensive backs back there, and particularly the safety who's got to cover a lot of ground. Is it really regarding that particular player, the deep safety, that's got to be so aware and be able to handle his own responsibility, but also help out the two corners deep when you got 8 guys in a box and you don't know where they're coming from at any given moment?
Yeah, you also have a condensed version at the line of scrimmage. So you got 5 rushers up there, 3 of them that are over both guards in the center. If you feel that you have a vulnerability on the offensive line, especially on the interior, and you have a McMichael and you have Dan Hampton, you have a William Perry, then you can probably take advantage of that one position a majority of the game. But if you have 3 good players like they did in Miami with a quarterback like Dan Marino, and then Don Shula can figure out a scheme of how to challenge the vulnerabilities of the defense and the amount of space that you have to cover that you're bringing up. So, yeah, there's pros and cons to each, but we've probably seen more offensive change in the league than we have defensive change because there's nobody running the 46. It's all 3 or 4 man fronts. And so you don't have the variety that you had when teams were trying to figure out a scheme to go out and challenge the 46 back in the day.
But with the infusion of big nickel and how Seattle used Nicky Manwari and some of their other players, Devin Weatherspoon, do you see elements of what used to be? Because of course, Dennis Allen would like to have plenty of flexibility, guys that can do more than one thing at one position. Are we leaning towards that because of the dynamic offenses and the position of slot, running backs doing some things out of the backfield, and, of course, when teams go to 2 and 3 tight ends? Might these flexibilities that you're seeing today an offshoot of what was?
I still think it's, personnel based. You look at the Seattle Seahawks, they had an incredible amount of success rushing 4 guys.
Yeah.
And every once in a while later in the game when they got a lead, they were able to bring some blitzes that were unexpected to the New England offense. The left side of the line for New England was kind of getting beat with regularity, so they knew they had a position that they could attack repeatedly. But if you have 4 guys that are getting pressure on the quarterback, and even though Drake May, he had a lot of all-star considerations at the end of the season, his escapability isn't like Lamar or some of the other guys out there. If you can put a contained type of pocket and push those offensive linemen back into his face, that's when you can make a young quarterback look young.
How do you tell a cashier you're a Bears fan without telling them you're a Bears fan? With a Chicago Bears PNC Bank Visa debit card, which gets you exclusive discounts on Bears merchandise. Find out more at pnc.com/BearsCard. Back to the 84. Before you got there, that defensive system of the Bears produced 72 sacks. And in 85, the defense had a 6-game streak. On average, gave up just 4.5 points a game. 10 points over those 3 playoff games. I know Bears fans have always they could tell you those numbers off the top of their head. It was such a dominant effort. And I looked back at the time of possession because you told me the Bears led the league in time of possession as an offense. Happened again in the Super Bowl. You guys dominated time of possession, which kept that defense fresh.
Yeah, it was the perfect complement because we would hope that we would lose the coin toss and the opponent, would take the football, and then the Bears, we'd go 3 and out. We'd start the game with good field position, and then we could convert that into points. But it was, at the most important time of the game and maybe late third into fourth quarter, we were able to control the line of scrimmage with our running game and limit the amount of time that the defense had to put on the field. But when they got on the field, they were a fresh bunch of guys just kind of racing to the quarterback. And so that was the great part about it.
Did Richard in practice ever line up over you?
No, I had a steady diet of Steve McMichael, William Perry, Dan Hampton, Mikey Hartenstein, Tyrone Keys, but really never had Richard. I had Richard Moore on running plays, and I had to block him as a defensive end.
It's crazy. The more I think about this, too, the defensive tackle position throughout history, if you've got somebody of dominance, like when Buddy went to Philadelphia, he had Reggie White to put him on the nose. He had Dan Hampton. He could choose anybody to play on the nose from that defensive line if he wanted to. Just the disruptive nature of what it does to collapse the quarterback. It's the quickest spot to get to the quarterback, a straight line. You know, that's what you need, I think, in today's NFL as well. Don't you think?
Well, I'll give you one example. So I was in the USFL, and with the Jacksonville Bulls, I was playing against Keith Millard. And I was thinking, man, this guy is special. I mean, he is special. And then all of a sudden, we both go to the NFL, and there he is in the Minnesota Vikings. And I think it was 1991 or something, or whatever year it was, maybe 89 even, that he was defensive MVP out of the defensive tackle position. And we played against him twice a week. And just being prepared for his explosiveness, his quickness, his length, his ability to anticipate snap counts. He was a special player, a lot like, the Aaron Donalds and John Randalls and the other guys that we've met and talked about and broadcasted against for all those years.
Yeah, there's plenty of guys in the National Football League that have that kind of impact on the game. This podcast is brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer partner of your Chicago Bears. Tastes like Miller Time Chicago. Go to MillerLite.com/BearsPod to find delivery options near you. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces or less. All right, that's going to do it for us. We thank our special guest, the Hall of Famer Richard Dent. For Tom Thayer, I'm Jeff Joniak. Thanks for listening, everybody. Please subscribe now on the Chicago Bears official app, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And bear down, everybody.